All right, New Zealand USD post analysis. This was actually a counter trend trade over here on the 15. We'll jump up to the 1 hour. Counter trend trade for a buy that did not work for me. So, two counter trend trade losses recently. Not a big fan just yet, so maybe I'll stick with the trend. But let's jump into it. So, the reason I even went counter trend on this. One was we were looking at it in the Elite Community New York session. All right. And then two, it did have some logic behind it. So let's jump into it. So on the daily over here, flow is down. We just breached this place down with pretty strong, right? We did a little tiny pullback thing, pushed down a little bit lower low, pulled back, couldn't do anything, and then the buys came. And then with that said, it looks like there's some room here, right? So this guy that made this push, lower low, pull back, push, lower low, kind of if you look on this, like we're here in this situation, right? Maybe there's some room to come back to these trap areas or to this SNR, or maybe he even needs to come back to this trap. We don't know. But from this point where it's at now to here, there is some room. So that was the logic behind it, with volume building down here. For the buy side, also a little bit more logic behind it. And so with that said, we'll jump to the 4 hours on this one, and we'll stay on the 1 hour on this one. So what we can see on the 4 hour is last guy who made the push, we took him out, we pulled back, the buyers bought. Like I said, also some volume. Out of the screen, there's volume. It's down here, I promise. And hang on 1 second. All right, there's the volume. And it broke to the upside. So now we have a pullback coming in, and can we make it one more push up, possibly to these areas? And one more thing to note on the daily is, I don't know that this is a thing, but it is not even really hit this 20 EMA yet, and usually on a nice pullback it can get around those areas. So there's some more room on the daily with the EMAs. Just something that I noticed. All right, so with all that mumbo jumbo said, we're basically on the 4 hour looking at this demand that made a higher high and pulling back. So over on the 1 hour, we're looking at this guy who made a higher high. Took this guy out, made a higher high, and now we are pulling back 1, 2, 3 legs and potentially made a swoop, a megaphone, whatever we want to call it. This last guy got killed. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, and so 1 hour over here now in 15. So as I could see on the 1 hour, right, this is our demand. We have a pullback to buy, didn't go, and then these guys came lower and they said, okay, this may get some sellers interested. And then especially in this pullback and dropped even lower, people were chasing this, especially on the 1 hour, like, okay, it's a sell. And then they got trapped in here. They got swooped, right? So I was reading this on the 15. Once we get our swoop and our pullback, I was reading this like, okay, these were the support resistance sellers, pullback, sell. Look how big that is. So we'd have a pullback, sell right here. So these guys are all trapped. And then, so I was looking at this on the 15 saying, okay, if I were these sellers, my stops would be here. So this would already have swooped, and maybe some stops are here. So was this my swoop, my hold? Was this the FOMO that got everybody thinking it was going right at 7 when New York came out? And then as it pulled back to this area, and there actually could have been some more trapped people in here on a lower time frame. As this came back in, they said, oh, it's rejecting like almost like a real sharp reversal right here. And could have got more sellers selling. And then they got trapped. So it was kind of like a double trap I saw. Trap down here, trap up here. If I were to drop down to a lower time frame, you could see another trap in that area. So as this broke above it, definitely that was definitely your swoop. Regardless, there was a trap here and a trap there. So as this pulled back into that trap area, seemed to roll over and couldn't go any further, I went ahead and hit the buys. and took an entry. So one thing I did, I put my stops just below this first trap. So as soon as I took that entry, I was like, man, I do not like these where I put my stops. I think I was just in a hurry, wanting to maximize my R to R profit. And really, I would have felt much more comfortable under these double trap area here. And one thing is, I was also saying, okay, as I got this, I wasn't super sure on if I had just traded the FOMO and it was still needing to dash those guys. And that's actually what it looks like it did. It looks like if I look on the hourly, this whole thing was the swoop. This was the hold, some FOMO, and then maybe some dashing. If I just want to get technical. But like I said, these people were trapped. These people were trapped. It's a good area. The flow is up. It is counter trend. So I needed to keep that in mind. And as this went, these didn't bother me too much other than my stop loss was pretty tight. And as they rejected back, I said, okay, that's for surely the dash. And then let's go. And it got up here and started to roll over. And I eventually closed after it held here and did not go back. It started to push down. I said, that's it, I'm done. So that's one thing I need to realize on a counter trend. Go ahead and just take the profits. Maybe if I look at this longer, I can see, these rejections right here. Let's get this out of the way for now. This big rejection, and then it slowed down up here at the top again, up at these areas. And there was a sister pair, New Zealand CAD also, that was doing pretty much similar stuff to this. And I could have took about a 1 hour profit instead of about a half hour loss in this area. So, yep, that's it. So I'm going to be leery of counter trend in the future this week coming up. I'm going to do my best just to stay away from them, maybe watch them, see how they act, and just take my time and put the logic behind the read and everything like that. So, yeah, I think that's it. All right. Happy with myself that I did manage to close after I saw this pulling back and it ranged and then started going lower. Usually I would just hold on till it killed me totally. But I'm kind of learning that if we have a sharp move back, give it a chance. If that chance doesn't go back, then go ahead and close. But even on counter trend, I think that's even more. But all right.